Hey folks, welcome back to another edition of RV with the Tanners. Hey, today I'm going to do another video on a TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system from TST. The reason I did this, I'm going to go into it for you here and let you figure out why. Last fall, we decided to sell our F-450, which had TPMS systems around it, but it wasn't integrated into the vehicle. It was the external versions. And now we've upgraded to an F-450, and with that, they have 19.5 inch tires, steel belted tires, and the factory does not allow or offer a TPMS system integrated into the truck on the F-450. We knew this going in when we bought the F-450 that it was going to be a little bit of an issue, and I had thought to myself, well, I'll just continue to use the TPMS systems that I have prior. It's the little ones that screw onto the valve stem. But then I started thinking more about it, and it's really a hassle for those of us with dualies, with getting that air hose back through the first rim to the second one and be able to add a little bit of air pressure to that inside tire. Anybody who has a dually knows what I'm talking about. And when you add those TPMS modules, they have two kinds. There's the kind that just screws on, and then you can't add air. And then there's another type that allows air to pass through. Both of those are still a problem with a dually because getting through that first rim and then be able to hook back and add air is just fundamentally bad. It's very difficult for folks with a dually. So this solution I'm going to talk to you about today, I thought was a home run. Now, I'm using it basically for the dually, of course, but you could use it on any vehicle where you didn't want to put a TPMS module on the valve stem. What I'm talking about is an internal sensor. It looks like this. You can focus on it. I thought that was a great solution for us because now my valve stems aren't covered up with either the kind that just covers it or the one that you can add air through. So now everything's internal. It's very easy for me to just walk up with an air hose and add air to any of the tires on the truck and the trailer. I've started off with just putting them on the truck. We're still got to pull the trailer off to the local tire store and get them to do that. But I'm going to walk around and show you what it looks like on the truck and how to kind of pair them to the sensor and make it more helpful to folks with these bigger trucks, and so we can add air on the fly and not have to sometimes even take the tire off, the outside tire, to get to that inside tire to add air. So really good solution for those of us, again, with the dually. What does it come with? So as always with the TST solution, you're going to get a display like this. We'll go through and show you all the innards of the display. I already showed you the sensor itself that goes inside the tire. They're going to send you a charging solution, USB cable, and a little cigarette lighter guy that can charge the display. And then I thought this was nice. TST didn't make something an option, so they've included the US or the Bluetooth enhancement signal. So I've got this in the front of the trailer from my prior one. Now folks, if you have a prior TST solution like I did, this system, I don't need this because they're the same technology. So on my prior system with the valve cap type TPMS, I can just continue to use my existing Bluetooth enhancer repeater, if you want to call it that, to then send the signal to my display in the truck. So I'm gonna have an extra one of these. But what's nice with, I think what TST has done is they've actually included little things that make this better. A lot of times folks will just send you the power cord and then you gotta strip down the cord and actually put in a fuse. Not only did they put the fuse holder, there's actually a fuse inside here too. So they've gone the extra mile and actually made everything you need. They put the little eyelets in here so you can put it on your battery or how you're gonna make this thing actually power up. So they've thought ahead and maybe done that for you. What else does it come with? So if you're a kind of guy that wants to put their display on your windshield, they put a little suction cup and put it up there. Personally, what we do is we have this, the little holder that goes on the dash. It sits there, and then Melinda can monitor this while I drive. So one last thing for me to watch, that's kind of Melinda's job, is to watch the tires. What else does it do? I'm taking a look at my notes here. So it can read from 1 PSI up to 218 PSI. Our trailer tires are 110, and I think the truck is about 80, 85. I'll have to double check that. So we're well within that realm. It can monitor 4 different trailer profiles. So if you have like a utility trailer, your travel trailer, a dump trailer or whatever else kind of trailers you might have, it can do up to 4 trailers. And it can store, what does it say here? 115 tires. It's a lot of tires, folks. I've got 10 and I thought that was a lot, but maybe some of you have more. So knock yourself out with 115 tires. It comes with a 3-year warranty, so really nice there. Obviously, there'll be some more technologies by that time, so maybe we'll be doing another video in 3 years. Now, one thing to take in mind here, folks, this is a little more difficult of an install. I had to go to a professional tire company. It's here in Oregon. We have one called Les Schwab. And when I called them, I had to explain to them they're going to need to take the tire completely off of the vehicle, take the tire off of the rim, and then use this band. I think it was 30 pounds per inch they need to make this band on the inside, and you'll see the picture here of what it looks like when they're doing that. I took the picture before they actually cut the excess of the band off, but trust me, they did do that, so when you see the picture, it looks a little weird. And then there's a video here of what the truck looks like without my tires off. But here's my best known method. For the inside tire, do your binding to your display before they install it, because it's going to be difficult for you to get this receiver past the outside tire to the inside tire in order to make that bind connection with the Bluetooth and pair your sensor. So I wrote on the actual systems for the guys doing the tires, here's my driver rear, inside rear, and here's my passenger inside rear. So I binded them before they actually did that. So now all I have to do, I'm back home now, is go out there and do the binding on the 4 outside tires. Obviously the front 2 and then the back 2. So my inside tires have already been attached to the display. You could try to do it the other way, but I just thought that was a great way to do it so I don't have to try to bind that through the outside tires. Okay, so I'm going to run you through how to actually set up your display here. And one thing on this version, it's the TST-507-INT-4-C. It's quite a mouthful of letters, so I'll put a link down below. You guys can check it out on TST site, and I'll send you off to Eric's site where I actually got this. He's the guy I've been working with, so if you're thinking about purchasing, Eric's great for this, and make sure you go to his site, take a look at it. All right, so how do we actually connect these two together? I'm going to run you through the binding process. Oh, I wanted to tell you one more thing too. So when you actually take a look at this, when I turn it on, I have my old one here. You can see that it still has the setup for the dually here and then the trailer. But when I turn on the new one, there's something a little bit different that you're going to see. There's now the capability to put a tire pressure sensor on your spare tire. So underneath the truck and underneath the trailer, I can now monitor my spare tire. My old version, it looks like they had the ability to have it there, but it didn't work. I never even paid attention to it because I didn't know. If it didn't light up, I didn't know it was there. But now when I turn this one on, I'll do an actual video for you, and you can actually see where there's a spot for the spare tire. How awesome is that? Now you know that your spare tire, both on your vehicle and on your RV, is also at the correct pressure, because what you don't want to do is get a flat and then you find out that your spare is also flat or too low to actually use. So nice solution. I'm going to use the valve stem version from what I have from my prior TST solution. I'm just going to screw those on to the spare for the truck and the spare for the trailer. It will not be the internal sensor like this. It will just be the external version for my spare. So I thought that was a good way to reuse what I had already had. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to actually attach the sensor here to the display and how you're going to pair it. We'll do one here in my office and I'll show you how to do it up close so you can see the buttons, and then we'll jump outside and I'll show it to you on the truck so that you can see how you do it when the sensor is already attached inside the tire. All right, so we're going to turn the system on. It's going to quickly boot up. You're going to see the beautiful color display. And as I told you earlier, I've already binded 2 of them, the inside tires, to the display. So you can see those are already here and they're flashing. So I'm going to go into the configuration mode. I'm going to click go, hold this down for about 3 or 4 seconds. You'll get a beep. And then it goes through all of the configuration options that you can do. First one is you set the high temperature or high pressure, low pressure, high temperature, and then a PSI or bar, depending on where you're located. Fahrenheit or Celsius. And then finally we go into the Learn ID, and that's where you're going to actually be doing the sensor. So I'm going to click the button again to select that. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have one of these, and I'm gonna make it my outside tire for the trailer because the ones in the truck are already installed. So I'm gonna toggle over real quick. You'll see all these different buttons are lighting up. Those are different tire options. So I'm gonna get to the trailer, and then I'm gonna go to that first one. So you see, I'm gonna select that as my driver front tire for the trailer. Then I hit set, so I'm selecting that trailer now. And then finally to pair, you'll see that all 6 F is flashing. So you take your sensor, then you hit the top button to engage that, and it's already paired itself. That was that quick. You'll see that I had the sensor pretty close to it. It's find the ID, you hit set, and now it's set. So if I go back, you'll see that I've actually added the tire for my trailer. So when I have this installed on the trailer, I gotta make a note to myself that this is my driver front when they attach it with the band inside. And then you're done. So then you could actually turn it off. All right, so now we're gonna jump outside and give you the explanation on how to do it in the tire. One last thing I want to talk about is how you tell the tire company to install these sensors. So it's important when you talk to them, obviously again, when you call to tell them you're gonna need to take it completely off. You might have to talk to them folks about the fact that it's an aftermarket. I had a little bit of a conversation with my tire company. They were concerned that I was trying to actually bind this sensor with the internal sensors and displays in the vehicle, and they will not do that. You need to explain to them very clearly that this is an aftermarket device with an aftermarket display. You are not trying to connect through your vehicle. You're just trying to put the sensor in the tire. Once they understand that, they're fine with doing that. But again, they might have a little bit of hesitation for you if you just tell them you're trying to install some aftermarket TPMSs. I guess there might be like some federal rules with doing that and trying to attach it to your vehicle. I don't know the whole reason for it, but they were pretty leery on that until I explained to them exactly what I was trying to do. So when you get this sensor from TechnoRV, and Eric's the guy I worked with, what you're gonna do is they're gonna explain to you how to install this, and it's also in the instructions, but make sure when you talk to your tire company, you tell them you need to have the sensor 180 degrees away from the valve stem. So you don't want it to be close to the valve stem, it needs to be as further away as possible, 180 degrees, valve stem, sensor installed. They'll understand that when you tell them, but it's just nice to continue to explain it to them. I wanted to make sure I talked to the actual guy doing the install. So I checked in, I asked the person, hey, can I go back there and talk to them real quick? Of course, they're a little leery of you going back into a work area and taking some pictures and videos, but they were okay with that. So I said, please make sure you install it at 180 degrees away from the valve stem. He knew that, which was very fortunate for me, but it's just nice to double check because once they get installed, folks, you can't see that if they did it right or wrong. So just double check, make sure everything's great before you let them go at it. All right, so now we're gonna jump out to the truck and we're gonna show you how to bind it with the sensors already inside the tire. All right, so now we're getting a close-up view of both valve stems on the outside tire, this guy, outside tire, and then the inside tire, this guy. So you can quickly see that if you had a valve stem TPMS, either the fill through or just the cap, it's very, very difficult in order to get air back in here because your hand doesn't fit in there to actually be able to remove the cover type. Even with a valve stem version, it realistically pulls that away from that valve stem a long way, and it's difficult to reach in there with an air supply in order to fill that inside version. So now you can see I have the ability with my Vi-Air to reach in here and add air easily to that inside tire, and then I can just reach here on the way out and I can fill my outside tire. Really easy. So the solution for me is a nice way in order to have all of my tires inflated to the proper temperature and easily be able to add 5-10 pounds if I start to lose pressure in one without having to remove the actual tire. Okay, so let's add the outside tire, outside driver tire. So remember, you got to go 180 degrees from the valve stem, so go straight across. I've got this raised kind of a inside part of my rim, and that's exactly where the sensor is. Remember from the picture earlier? So I cleaned off a little bit of space right here, and that should be exactly where it is. I've got the system in learn mode, and the last thing I need to do is just tell it to engage the sensor reading. One beep. You see that it flashed and it found it, and then you hit the middle button to lock that in. And now that tire is locked in. Okay, so I've got all 6 tires on the truck paired and matched to the display. And I wanted to quickly just run through that. I'm going to give you a close-up of the display and cycle through each of the tires and show you how well it's working. All right, to give you a summary of what it looks like, right now the one flashing here is on the trailer. We bind that up in the office and it's not attached to the trailer. So it's flashing right now. We're showing 50 degrees on the front tire. The passenger tire is showing 87 pounds of pressure. This truck wants 90 pounds pressure in the front. Now it's reporting the back tires, 82 pounds on the inside tire, 48 degrees. Toggling over to the inside passenger, 83. And then finally it's going to toggle up and we're at 83 PSI also on the outside tire, and then it'll toggle over to the trailer, back to where we started. Alrighty folks, that's about a wrap to this video. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Eric at TechnoRV. The link's down below so you guys can check out their website in order to pick up this version of the TST TPMS. Great company to work for, or work with. Very responsive. If you have any questions, just give them a call. I think you'll be happy you did. I'm super happy about this. As you know, I only put them so far in the truck because that's what I had the biggest concern for. Any of the TPMSs will work with your trailer, you know, the ones on the valve stem, either the round one, the version that has the pass-through. This is the round one, by the way. I can focus on this. This is what it looks like, and it just sits on your valve stem. Anyway, that version works great on the tire or on the trailers. The only problem with this version is you have to take it off if you want to add air. The pass-through is really nice for your trailer. The only caveat I'll have with that, if you don't know, is you're going to want to replace your valve stem with a metal valve stem, a steel valve stem, so that the weight of that pass-through one as it spins doesn't cause a problem with a rubber valve stem. So make sure you replace that if you go with that version. Otherwise, everything's great now. I'm super excited to have my F-450 TPMS, even though it's an aftermarket version. So being able to see the pressure on those tires. Hey, if you guys have a second, just give me a response for those of you that are non-Ford owners down below. And if your heavy-duty truck uses a larger tire, like the Ford uses the 19.5 steel-belted tire, and that's their reason for not putting it integrated into the truck. If some of you Ram guys, your Chevy guys with your really large trucks have those large tires, let me know if your truck supports that built in. Is it just a Ford thing or is it across the ecosystem? Let me know. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time and have a great day. Bye. So if you haven't done so yet, please remember to hit the subscribe button and then hit the little bell so that it reminds you when we post new videos.